going to start this. How's everybody doing? This is going to be just like we're here in class, right? What I found, I went over this next section. It's actually 9.5 piecewise functions, so let's change that. 9.5 piecewise functions. We're going to deal with the blue, green, and red again. If you don't have a blue, green, and red pen, that's okay. Just kind of maybe color over it or write the color next to it so we know what one everything is. Okay, so I'm going to give you a second to write this down. So the first thing, the blue part is I know when to use an open or a closed circle. The green part is I can find the start and end point of each piece of the graph. And the red part, I can graph all of the pieces on the same graph. Okay? So these are going to be the three things that we're going to focus on and identify if we know how to do each of those pieces. So I'm going to start. You can pause that if you need to write that down. Okay? So first we're going to sketch the graph of the piecewise function. So the blue part is identifying if it's an open or a closed circle. So if this says x is less than, that's going to be an open circle. And if it has an equal to sign underneath it, then that will be a closed circle. Okay, so that's the first thing we want to identify. So again, as long as it has, if it does not have the line underneath it that stands for equal to, then it would be an open circle. It means it does not include that number. And then if it has the line underneath it, then it's a closed circle and it does include that number. Okay? So we're going to start with, I'm going to do green. The green part is locating a start and an end point, okay? And sometimes, depending on what the function looks like, you might have to know a couple of points in the middle to see how it curves together. So we'll do an example like that as well. 2x is a straight line, so I don't need to worry about any points in between. I just need to have 2 points and connect the dots, okay? So my starting point here is 3. So I'm going to take my function and I'm going to plug a 3 in, and I get 6 as my value. So the ordered pair is going to be x was 3 and y was 6. So 3, 6, and that's going to be an open circle. Okay? So that will give us a start point. And then maybe we want one other point. So this says x is less than 3. So we have to think of a number less than 3. So 2, 1, 0, any of these numbers are going to work. So let's pick 0 just because 0 is an easy number to plug in. And if I do 2 times 0, we get 0. So another point on the graph is 0, 0. Okay? So that will be for the 2x. All right, I'm going to do the same thing for the x plus 1. I want to start. Okay, so in this case, x plus 1 still has a 3, okay, but this time it's going to be greater than or equal to. So if x equals 3, then I get 3 plus 1, and I get 4. So my ordered pair is going to be 3 because that's what I plugged in, and then my y value is 4. And this is a closed circle. Okay, now once again, this graph is a linear graph, so it's a straight line. So I can just find one more point, and then if you want to, you can identify a little thing and say that this is going to be to the right. It's going to be to the right of 3. So a number to the right of 3 or greater than 3 would be 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so let's just do 4. So if I plug a 4 in, I get 4 plus 1, and we get 5. So our ordered pair is going to be 4, 5. And then we're going to connect those dots and then continue from there. Okay? So we have our start point and then the direction that we're going. Okay, so then we're going to go to a graph. okay? So I'm gonna do this in red. So my first thing is going to be this start point, 3, 6 is an open circle. So I'm gonna go to 3 and up to 6 and do an open circle. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? So I've got that point at 3, 6, and then our other test point was down here at the bottom. It was 0, 0, okay? So it's gonna also go through 0, 0, and then I'm gonna connect this as just a linear line, the y equals 2x. Okay, so y equals 2x looks like this. Now, kind of what you wanna think about is this, don't draw this dotted line, just look at this. So I've got kind of this barrier at x equals 3, okay? And then looking at this equation, this means x is going to be the left side of 3. So over here, if this is my line 3 right here, then it's over on the left side of that line, okay? All right, so then I'm gonna do the same thing with the other one. My starting point is 3, 4, so I'm gonna go to 3, 4, and I'm gonna do a closed circle this time. So I go to 3 and then up 4, and this was a closed circle, okay? And then on this equation, it's greater than, so that's to the right of 3, and we did another point at 3, 4. Oh, that's the one we already just did. Okay, so down at the bottom, we did 4, 5. So if I go to 4, 5, it's gonna go through this point, and then it's just gonna go like this and move on. Okay, so that's gonna be the graph of that first piecewise function. If you did draw your little guide, this line here, you're gonna wanna erase it, okay? Because it's not part of the graph. It was just to help us to see on the right side and on the left side.